Hey guys, so this is the last video I'm going to do today. There was a lot of new videos that got kind of thrown at me that I wasn't planning on doing, but this video is important. It seems, especially in hip-hop, because of the freedom that the art allows the artist to use as far as their lyrics go, you can be a little bit more in your face, and you can talk about the things that you're surrounded with and the things that are happening in your life. It's always been that way with hip-hop. That's what basically how hip-hop was born and how it's evolved, but you've always been able to talk about what's going on in your life. That's what gangster rap was. It was talking about the streets. It was talking about the brutality of the streets. It was talking about police brutality. It was talking about gang life. It was talking about all of that. So rap and hip hop has always been socially conscious, and it's always been in your face, and it's always shown you that, whether you've wanted to see it or not, that's what it's been. And so some people who don't want to see it or just don't want it in their face like that have just chosen not to listen to hip hop. But it is a genre of music that has always done that. The wonderful thing about hip-hop as of late is, out of all the genres of music, it is the only one that I feel really has been pushing forward and saying, hey, get rid of the stigma about mental illness and suicide and addiction. There is no stigma about it anymore. We're losing too many goddamn people, basically. And it is the one genre where it's being pushed forward in the music. And I applaud hip hop for that. I applaud rap for that. But also, another thing is, hip hop is really the only genre right now that has been willing to talk about, and I keep saying this, and I don't know if it's falling on deaf ears or just people don't want to talk about it, but we have a race problem in this country. We always have, we always will, and until we talk about it, we're gonna continue to have one. The reason why I'm saying all this now is because the video I'm about to show you, I want you to watch it within the context of what it's meant to be watched in. It's art, but it's not just art. It's art with a message. And I don't want, as I preface with everything, like especially my reactions, do not grab onto the first thing that you hear in these things and then run off and make some stupid ass comments. You need to watch this and listen. Open heart, open mind, open ears. Right? There is a message in every single thing in this video. The lyrics, the video, the art, the message, it all goes together. Yeah, it's Marlon Craft with Gang Shit. You ready? Let's go.
My name John and I'm a city cop, and I'm just tired of these let me not. They try to paint me as racist, but see I'm really not. Call me pork, so I put them on they belly at every stop. And they scared, what a joke, how about how I feel? Check the crime rate, look at my eyes behind my shield. I'm scared, this is a job, this how I find my meal. So if they gon' lie and steal, I'ma make them lie from still. And I think my life do matter more. I seen too many of these people kill without remorse. Used to be 3/5 of a man, but I think half is more accurate. How they celebrate savageness in a patterned form. My family raised me not to trust them. Fuck you, they ain't wrong. These other cops are my brothers, and they be wishing us harm. They told me that it's our culture to make sure that they suffer, and I can't break the bond. It's all I got. I'm faithful, dog. Shit. I bleed blue like I'm a Giants fan. To question my ways, to stop flowing my veins. So I ain't slowing the day. I'ma keep everyone safe from these black bastards. And that's word to my gang, gang, gang. I'm just riding for my gang, 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 gang. I'm just riding for my gang, 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 gang.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it here real quick. So the things that he was saying things like, you know, he thinks his life is worth more. Their lives are worth, they used to be worth 3/5 of a man, but he doesn't think they're even worth 50% of a man, because they don't even take stock in each other. They're killing each other. So if they're killing each other off, then why should I think that they're worth as much as I am? You know what I mean? If they don't even put that worth in themselves. That's one of the things he said. The other thing he said was, you know, they say they're scared. I mean, what do you think I am? Behind my shield, I'm scared when I go out there every day. Because and then the other thing he says was, I was taught, meaning from the time he was a child, I was taught not to trust these people. And they were right. Meaning he was taught to be racist. Or he says, I'm not racist. That's what he says in the beginning. I'm not racist. But he clearly has stereotypes and clearly has a racial bias, right? He was taught that. That's the house he grew up in. That, you know, it just shows that when you grow up in a certain house or whatever, what you're taught, he was taught these things from the time he was a child. So, and then I find it interesting that what was the other thing he said about the steal thing? Something about how they lie and cheat and steal, and then he said he'll make them lie down with steel, meaning the steel of his gun. So that's another thing that I caught in there. And then the other thing, to him, when he goes back to the chorus, I'm just doing this for my gang, or I'm just in this with my gang. His gang are his fellow officers. It's a gang, just like if you were in a street gang or whatever. There is a certain culture in the law enforcement community, you know, and that's his gang, you know. So those are just some things I wanted to point out about this part of it.
Gang, gang. America, whole lot of gang shit. America, whole lot of gang shit. America, whole lot of gang shit. Gang, 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 gang. My name's James and I'm in the Klan. My family been...
Whoa. Okay. His name's James and he's in the Klan. I wasn't expecting that. I'm sorry. Let's just back this up a little bit. Mr. James.
My name's James and I'm in the Klan. My family been down for a 4-generation span. It's not about...
Okay, so for 4 generations, his family has been in the Klan. So what does that tell you? He grew up in the Klan. From the time he was born into the Klan. His father was a Klan member, his grandfather was a Klan member, and his great-grandfather was a Klan member. So all he knows is the Klan culture. Jesus Christ.
Out the hatred, man, it's love for our nation, the white place. So we took savages and enslaved and tamed them in these white threads. As hereditary as this white skin, I ain't have a say soon as I was of age, I was in. And if I have to, I resort to violence, cause they try shine colors in a country made for white men. And we're poor too. Boo-hoo, all of you lefties complain about your oppression and pain, while all of these Mexicans came and take all our jobs and our lanes. And I don't blame corporate games, cause I want the spoils and fame. I could have more too, that could be me one day. That's why I love Trump, cause he see my way. We gon' make America white again, cause I don't wanna compete with people who work harder than me, cause we all spited them. And if I can...
Okay. Alright, so he says that he's just as poor or poorer than the minorities, right? And so there are white men who are poor too. And you know, there are just as many white people who are out of work, and he doesn't want, what was the line? He doesn't, well, that's why he voted for Trump, by the way, because, you know, Trump will make America great again. And Trump, oh, no, Trump will make America white again, is what he said, because he doesn't want to compete for jobs with people who will work harder than him. I believe that's what he said.
The spoils and fame, I could have more too. That could be me one day. That's why I love Trump. Cause see, he see my way. We gon' make America white again. Cause I don't wanna compete with people who work harder than me. Cause we all spited them. And if I consider that how we living is wrong, that would mean that I would have to concede that the sale and beating of those bodies was uncalled for. That it was all the murder and rape that got us these Sundays at the golf course. That we as heinous as they try to make us out to be, why would I even try? There's nothing in it for me to not treat it as a lie. So far as I'm
Okay, so if he were to admit that, that any of his lifestyle was wrong, that means he would have to admit that slavery was wrong from the beginning, and everything, his whole life, his whole heritage, 4 generations of his life was wrong, and he's not prepared to do that.
concerned, all the blacks, Jews, and the gays, and the Muslims, and the Mexicans can leave or die. I do it all for the clan. These are my brothers. They understand me. We all understand each other. Don't tell me that our fathers and mothers should be ashamed. I'm riding out forever for my gang, 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 gang. I'm just riding for my gang, 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 gang.
God, that image is just so fucking creepy right there. I'm sorry, it just creeps me the fuck out.
I'm just riding for my gang, 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 gang.
Okay, so what do you find interesting about this, right? So you have both of these people who, while they're doing this whole gang thing, they're with, like, the cop is with all the other cops while he's saying all these things that it's like racial profiling and stuff like that. He's in his uniform. But then he goes home at night and he's with his family and they're eating dinner. And here, he does the same thing. All his racial shit and all the stuff that he's saying, all the stuff, all the awful stuff or whatever. To me, it's awful. You know, maybe some of you agree with this, which you have a right to do on my channel. You have a right to, it's free speech, right? You have a right to your own opinions. And then here he is eating breakfast with his family. It's a very different, it's almost like a juxtaposition, right? So, yeah, it's strange. So let's just continue. I guess I was trying to tell you that you never know who it is. That's what I was trying to say with the juxtaposition. You never know. This, I mean, if this guy was walking down the street, would you automatically say, Klan member? Absolutely not. You would just be like, oh, hey, there's Bill. Hey, Bill, what's going on? Want a cup of coffee? Let's go have a coffee. You wouldn't be like, oh, hey, there's Bill, the Klan's member. Absolutely not. That's what I'm trying to say.
Gang, 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 gang. America, whole lot of gang shit. America, whole lot of gang shit. America, whole lot of gang shit. Gang, 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 gang. My name Marcus and I'm in the feds. I've been locked up for 4 years and 6 is left. I got 10 for armed robbery, shit, and honestly, I ain't even want to do it. And it's hard not to get depressed. I'm dying here. Was banging colors since a youngin'. Was born into a gang cause of the block that I grew up in. I done seen many die and a few folks kill.
Okay, so here we go again. He's saying he caught 10 years for armed burglary that he didn't even want to do, but he had to because of the gang he was in, right? And he said he had to be in the gang because of the block that he grew up in, and basically he was born into the gang life as well, as the other 2 men were also born into whatever they were doing. Like, I'm sure the cop was born, he was born into the belief system that he was born into, and most cops that I know, their fathers were cops and grandfathers or whatever. Same with firefighters, it's the same way. But the belief system is the same as the Klansmen, same as he's talking about. You know, he was like, he was born into the gang. He really didn't have a choice. So he didn't want to do this armed burglary, but he didn't have a choice because of the gang that he was in. And he caught 10 years, and now here he is in prison.
But when the world won't give you nothing, shit, you gon' steal. And my gang was all I knew. Brothers amongst the madness, drugs and death all around us, and we was angry and callous. The gang shit was all we had. We made mistakes and were misled. But while my gang got me in jail, yours got you home in bed. Riddle me that. My skin black, as simple as that. The hatred you both got for me is all written in fact of our institutions. You confused and feel like getting me back. For what? For living poor in conditions that's whack? You claim that I strike fear in you. But what you feel is you. For me to live how you call clean would be a miracle. The data's empirical. You hate it when my people march for me, but don't you too scream because you feel they ain't hearing you.
Okay, then that's interesting. It's interesting because I had a conversation. Well, I tried to have a conversation with someone when Tom McDonald put out his most recent thing, Straight White Male, and someone got in my comments basically just ranting about how he didn't like my reaction, basically, saying that white privilege did not exist, and he couldn't give me any clear data saying that it didn't exist. He just wanted to rant and rave about, you know, poor white people and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, if you can't give me data, then there's really no point to this conversation. He's like, well, do you have data? And I actually did, and I posted like 5 different peer-reviewed articles on white privilege. What is white privilege? White males and their denial of white privilege. I mean, I did a lot, and as soon as I posted that, he was gone. I never heard anything from him again. And that's kind of what he's saying, is that, like, you know, he talks about white privilege, and he talks about how, you know, you guys get to go home to your families. You guys have this white privilege where, yeah, your gangs, the Klan and the police or whatever, you guys get to do your dirty work. You guys kill people. You guys do this or that, and you guys get to go home at the end of the day and go home to your families. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here in prison because of the color of my skin. I believe the other thing he said was, hold on.
Robbery shit, and honestly, I ain't even want to do it. And it's hard not to get depressed with dying here. Was banging colors since a youngin'. Was born into a gang cause of the block that I grew up in. I done seen many die and a few folks kill. But when the world won't give you nothing, shit, you gon' steal. And my gang was all I knew. Brothers amongst the madness, drugs and death all around us, and we was angry and callous. The gang shit was all we had. We made mistakes and were misled. But while my gang got me in jail, yours got you home in bed. Riddle me that. My skin black, as simple as that. The hatred you both got for me is all written in fact of our institutions. You confused and feel like getting me back. For what? For living poor in conditions that's whack? You claim that I strike fear in you, but what you feel is you. For me to live how you call clean would be a miracle. The data's empirical. You hate it when my people march for me, but don't you?
That's okay. So the other thing he talks about, like, okay, so I was talking about how I did have empirical data to actually back up the facts that white privilege does exist, redlining exists, how social. Okay, so there has been societal and actual, societal racism and institutionalized racism has been happening in this country since forever. I mean, really, it has, and there is empirical data to back that up. I'm not going to get into all that, but then he also brings up, like, the march. There's been a few of them, the Million Man March, and I think he's talking about right now the Black Lives Matter movement. When, you know, I happen to agree with the Black Lives Matter movement. Only, and I think it's ridiculous that when they weren't saying, with Black Lives Matter, they're not saying that nobody else's lives matter. They agree. Everybody's life matters. Of course it does. However, when other races get hurt, get killed, or get murdered, their cases get solved. People go to jail. People go to prison. People get the death penalty. However, when poor black kid gets killed or a woman gets killed or whatever, number one, those cases usually get back shelved and they don't get solved. They never get solved. That's one thing that they're trying to say. The other thing that they're trying to say is the cops aren't profiling white kids in the middle, white teenagers or white men in cars and pulling them over and beating them or killing them or shooting them. They aren't chasing white kids through the suburbs and shooting them. They are doing it to black kids. So when they say Black Lives Matter, they're just saying, hey, stop killing us, I think, and there's nothing wrong with that. And what he's saying is, why, when we step up and want to speak out for ourselves and say, hey, look, we're standing up for ourselves, you have to pay attention, why do you want to kill our protest, our movement? Why do you want to shut it down? Why do you want to stop it? Or why do you want to say, oh, well, no, it should be all lives matter? Why do you want to do that shit? And I think that's what he's trying to say right there.
You two scream cause you feel they ain't hearing you. Shit, your whole premise is false, but I won't waste no time trying to break your prejudice walls. Point is, we all on some gang shit, loyal to what we taught, believing what was passed down, our community's theme of thought. And I'm
truth. And that's exactly, and isn't it ironic that it is the black man who's sitting in a prison who actually understands and has the knowledge to say everything. He says what it is, basically it breaks down to, it's what we were all, the houses that we were all brought up in, we were all born into, no matter what our race is, it's what we were all born into and brought up into, and we were taught from the time we were a child. That's what we're going to think. Those are the stereotypes we're going to have in our head, and that's what we're going to believe to be.
That is empirical. You hate it when my people march for me, but don't you two scream cause you feel they ain't hearing you. Shit, your whole premise is false, but I won't waste no time trying to break your prejudice walls. Point is, we all on some gang shit, loyal to what we taught, believing what was passed down, our community's theme of thought, and I'm the only one in cuffs for it. If I get out a better man, I'm still fucked for it. You turn the TV on and look, you got Trump for it. The president is in your gang, bitch, and you still pointing me to blame. Should I pray that when I get out, shit ain't all the same, but it's a cold world to be alone. And when the whole place that you grown and treat you like dogs in the rain, shit, I might fuck around and call gang. Gang, gang, gang. I'm just riding for my gang.
Look, he's not the empty seat at the dinner table. I'm assuming this is him, where the other guys also, you had the breakfast and the dinner scene with the other two guys. I'm assuming this is his table with his family, and it's got an empty seat.
Gang, 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 gang.
No gang. No, I mean, what's crazy about that is when you're in the neighborhoods. I mean, I grew up in neighborhoods like that, right? So you're pressured to be in gangs. You have to be in the gang, and they're like, oh, we'll look out for you. We'll look out for you. But then when something happens, if you're the youngest or if you this or that, you kind of get pressured to take the rap, or you get pressured to do the thing that is bad. You're almost expendable, right? But they're like, no, we got you. We'll always be there for you. We'll take care of your family, whatever. You know what I mean? And then, look, he's in prison, and where's his gang at? They're not there, right?
Gang, 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 gang. I'm just riding for my gang. Gang, 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 gang. America, whole lot of gang shit. America, whole lot of gang shit. America, whole lot of gang shit. Gang, 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 gang.
Okay, well, I don't know who Marlon Craft is, but I want to get to know who he is. This is an extremely powerful video. And I think that it was brilliant. It was brilliantly done. I think the concept that he uses um, is ingenious because it's relatable to everybody of all races, creeds, and colors. Um, to just, get the premise home that, look, these stereotypes are here for a reason. The reason why they're here, the reason why people have different, I call them filters. I always use the word filters because that's just what I was taught to use. But people are born with different filters, and the filters are like what you are, what people tell you as you're growing up, right? So you have some filters that are nature and some filters that are nurture, right? So some of the filters that you have is your environment, what you grow up in, what people are telling you in your ear, what your parents' views are and your grandparents' views are, and just the neighborhood that you grow up in and stuff like that. And then you have other filters that are basically just you and your heart and your identity and how you take things in and what you truly believe. And a lot of times, if you're in that culture and you're taught certain things, those overpower what's actually in your heart until you get into your probably 30s or so, I think that's when you fully kind of like mature into a person. And that's when mid 30s, and that's when your heart and mind and your own moral code sort of comes out, and that's when you either decide to kind of say, okay, that's not my thing. I'm really not. I don't have to be a part of that. I can do something better. And some people, it's much younger, by the way. Um, or they say, oh yeah, I completely identify with all of that, and I'm going to stay with that. You know what I mean? But he does kind of drive home this thing where, um, yeah, most of the time it's what you're born with. It's what you're taught when you're young, and you're kind of caught in this vicious cycle, you know. Um, but even the guy in the Klan said, "Look, even if I wanted to get out of this, it would mean I would have to say that everything that I've been taught, everything from when the slaves first came to this country and how we treated them to how we've treated these people, my family has treated these people for generations, for 4 generations, I would have to say it was wrong. And I can't do that. That would be like the ultimate betrayal to my family, to everything that I believe in. And I'm not prepared to do that right now." So you see, there's kind of like this, there's also another layer underneath it. I suggest you guys listen to the song again if you're really interested to kind of get an idea of what is really going on there. But I think it sends a really important social message. I think this guy is brilliant in the way that he did it. It looks like he's got a couple more videos I really want to check out. I hope you guys, I don't know if enjoy is quite the right word, but I hope you guys got something out of it. And maybe we can start. Now, if you're subbed to my channel, you know the rules, right? That we can talk about anything. If you're a new sub, go to the about page on my channel and read it before you leave comments in my comment section below, okay? We talk about everything on this channel, no matter what your views are. The only rule is it must be constructive and it must be respectful. We respect each other. We do not name call. We do not say disrespectful things. We are adults here. So we act like adults. We don't act like animals. Okay? The second you start name calling or acting like an animal, I have moderators here if I'm not around, but your comment will get deleted. It's because it's unacceptable. if you can't be polite in just a normal conversation about things. And it's okay if some of you agree with some points but disagree about others. I mean, that's what we do here. Anyway, you guys have a fantastic night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Friday, right? Yeah. So please comment, like, and subscribe. And what else? Damn straight. You guys take care of each other because no one else is going to. Ciao.